your back. And with the knees bent, much more comfortable for the lower back. Palms facing up. And then once you feel that you've set yourself up, your physical body at least, close the eyes. So with the eyes closed, it is a lot easier to look inwards, right? No distractions. And then use the focus of your attention for your physical body. Observe the soles of the feet, the back of the pelvis, the shoulder girdle, to a certain extent, elbows, back of the hands. And then, of course, also the back of your head, which is quite a heavy part of the body. So really feel the support on the back of the skull. And then next, bring the focus of your attention to your breath. Just initially observe the rhythm, the depth of your breath without adjusting. But then gradually notice how, because we're lying down in an effortless pose, the breath shifts automatically. It becomes a little softer, a little deeper for the in-breath, a little longer for the out-breath, without hardening in the back of the throat, without tensing the facial muscles. And then you can keep the eyes closed, in fact, for the next one. Just lift your arms up towards the ceiling, palms face each other, reach them up as if you're trying to reach the ceiling. If it helps for you, you can, of course, open the eyes. And then what we'll do is, we've done this before, just grip the opposite elbow with your opposite hands, trying to put the elbow point into the palm of your hand. And then inhale, extend your arms overhead, keeping hold of your elbow points. Now you may or you may not touch the floor with the arms, and that either is good, either is fine. Just readjust the head by dropping the chin to your chest slightly. And then just with each in-breath, lengthen the elbow points away from you, imagining they start at the top of your pelvis. So your waist, your side ribs, your armpits, your upper arms all get a lovely stretch here. That's your in-breath. With your out-breath, feel the back body, the back of the skull, the back of your spine, and also the soles of your feet in this case. Press a little deeper into the floor. So there's that extension and opening when you breathe in. There's a release and weighing down when you breathe out. And then inhale, bring the elbows back to the ceiling. Let go of one of them and wrap that arm around again so that you can grip the elbow again, but in a different wrap. And then revisit. Let's do the same thing. Inhale, arms overhead. Because this wasn't your first choice of gripping the elbows, this is probably your tighter side, right? So adjust where you can, but don't force anything. It's okay. We're not completely balanced human beings, right? And I'm not just talking physically. We just need to accept that. And at the same time, observe and realize what's going on. So same focus with the breath. You breathe in, you lengthen the entire side body towards, away from the crown of the head. And then at the same time, when you exhale, you feel a little bit more of a weighing down through those parts of your body in contact with the floor. Do make sure that the chin drops slightly towards the chest. It has a tendency to lift up when we move our arms overhead. when you exhale. And then let's inhale, bring the elbow points back towards the ceiling. Let go of them now and bring the arms back down just for a moment to observe how the arms and the shoulders feel after this very, very simple shoulder opening. And then what we'll do here is the left foot stays exactly as it is. Draw the right knee in towards your chest. First of all, just gripping the upper shin, draw the knee in towards the chest. Feel a little stretch in the inner thigh. A little bit of an opening in the outside of your hip as well. And then let's interlace your hands behind your thigh. So just interlace the hands behind the thigh and we'll work with the breath. We'll do this for about 3 times. When you exhale, draw the knee in towards the chest. When you inhale, straighten your leg up as much as you can, keeping hold of the back of your thigh. And then again, exhale, knee towards chest. Inhale as much as you can, straightening that right leg. Foot is flexed, facing the ceiling. Final time. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, straightening up that leg. Now keep the leg up. Keep the interlace relatively soft so you're not tensing the neck. Try and have a tiny bend in the elbows. If that is a challenge with the leg straight, bend the knee a little bit. Whatever works for you. And then here we're going to possibly challenge ourselves a little bit, but let's give it a go. So that the right leg stays pretty much as it is now, but with our exhalation, slide that left heel down away from you until perhaps that left leg is straight as well. If this is too much of an ask, by all means bend that left knee back as we started. And then here you can just play with that right leg a little bit. Left foot, mind you, is flexed, heel presses down into the floor. Right leg is lifted, but do try and avoid shortening your right waist. So keep the right waist long, and then perhaps bring the leg a little closer, but there's no need to compete with yourself. Okay, so just see we're slightly warming up the hamstrings, getting the legs ready for some standing poses. Good, and then slide the left heel back towards you and bend your right knee and place the foot on the floor. Now I would suggest closing your eyes here for a moment and just feel the difference between both hips, both thighs, and perhaps even calves as well. The right one feels much more alive, much more vibrant. There's a lot more going on in that leg because we've woken it up a little bit. So let's wake up the left leg now. Bring the left knee in towards the chest, right foot stays as it is. Interlace your hands behind that left thigh. Well, first of all, let's just draw it in towards us, just to get a little bit of a shape going here, so our body knows where we're trying to bring it. And then once you've done that, interlace the hands behind the left thigh. And then again, with your exhalation, knee towards chest. Inhale, straighten as much as feels right, that left leg. Again, they will feel different. One will have more space than the other. Exhale, knee towards chest. Inhale, leg up towards the ceiling. And again, exhale, knee towards chest. Inhale, left leg up. Stay here for a moment. Adjust both sides of your waist. The left waist will have wanted to shrink a little bit because what we tend to do is rather than straightening the leg, we bring our left buttock out to the side and we shorten that left waist. So move the left buttock a little further away from you towards the right foot. And then again, up to you. If you want to, try with an exhalation to lengthen that right leg out and extend it onto the floor. If this is, again, too much of an ask, keep a bend in that right knee. You can also choose to have a tiny bend in the left leg to accommodate the pose. Either way, both sides of the waist are long, both feet are flexed. Right heel presses into the floor, and then again, feel how much space you've got available in that left leg. Again, don't feel like there is any competition with yourself or with whoever you see on the screen. Think about your neck, your shoulders, soften there a little bit. Good. And then bend the right knee, foot back on the floor, bend the left leg, and then extend your legs out in front of you for a moment. Just let them soften and release like we would at the very end in a Shavasana, and observe how they are feeling now, almost like your legs are a little longer. All of these sort of poses fantastic for lymphatic drainage, really to rejuvenate the body and just refresh and reset it. Bend your knees one leg at a time and very carefully roll over to the right so you can push yourselves up. And once you're sitting up, let's come into a table position. So in your table position, make sure that you create the frame with awareness. Your wrists sit below your shoulders, your knees sit below your hips. You've got a lovely, strong and sturdy table here. And then we'll play a little bit with the breath. So today we're going to inhale and round the spine and really use the in-breath to expand the entire back body. And then we exhale, tail lifts, crown lifts, collarbones are nice and broad. Inhale, round spine, long, broad, diagonally as well, upper back. And exhale. Feel the lift through the crown, feel the lift through the tail. Open the chest. And again, rounding the back. Let's do this one more time. And exhale, opening the chest, lifting our tailbone. And then come into a neutral spine. Depending on where you find yourself on your mat, walk your hands forward or your knees back slightly. Prepare for your downward facing dog. Okay, so we'll curl our toes under. We push our weight slightly back already into the balls of the feet as much as we can. And then with an exhalation, the knees lift off the mat and we come into a down dog. Now for the first dog pose, I would keep the knees bent slightly and just feel the seat lift. Make sure that it's not just the little fingers pressing down, knuckles of index fingers, of thumbs, long arms, long armpits. Remember, waists are long both sides. And really feel that you've got a bit of space going. Now you can actually walk this out a little. You can say, draw left heel down, bend right knee, draw right knee down, heel down rather, bend left knee. And just stepping it out a bit. Get into your calf muscles as well. And then come back into an even leg position, either a little bit bent or knees straight, depending on how warm you are. It's a little colder today, so give your body some time to get there. Look between your hands, bring your right knee forward, bring your right foot forward and step it between your hands. Fingertips in line with your toes. Draw that left heel back. Now rather than collapsing here, come a little higher onto your fingertips, look ahead, broaden your collarbones. And then let's lower that left knee to the floor. Keep the toes curled under. Left palm to the floor, and we're going to gradually, with an exhalation, twist towards the right side. Take your time. Now remember, I talked about the shortening of the waist when we were lying on the floor. Same thing wants to happen here. That right side of our waist, draw the right buttock back, move the right knee forward, and that will deepen your twist. Look up towards the ceiling, towards that right hand, if that feels okay, to your neck, spine, and open up a little. Look down, lower the right hand down to the floor now, and then with an in-breath, lift the left knee off the mat, step back into your downward facing dog. Good, and then again, we're going to do the other side. Look between your hands, let's bring the left knee, left foot forward, and find initially a nice high lunge. One where we have our collarbones broad, one where we actually have space for our chest to open and therefore our breath to remain smooth. So we can even do a little bit of a bounce. We didn't do that on the other side, but it feels rather nice in the front right thigh here. And then lower that right knee down to the floor, right palm to the floor. The right foot is still on the ball of the toes, so you've got your toes curled under, and gradually revolve and twist towards the left side. Left buttock back, left knee forward, sternum, your breastbone towards your chin, left arm up. Open the twist a little deeper by lifting a little higher out of that right hand. Look down, lower your left hand, and again find your way back into your downward facing dog. Slowly the body's warming up. We feel a little bit more space in our downward facing dog. What we'll do next is walk your feet slightly further forward, so closer to your hands, and then bring your hands closer towards your feet. Now, if you're okay with straight legs touching the floor, keep your legs straight. Otherwise, give yourself a tiny bend in your knees. It works quite well because your hamstrings still get an opening. So I'll do it with bent knees if that's what you feel like. Go for it. Look in front of you for a moment. Fingertips are about a foot in front of you, of your toes. This is your in-breath. With your out-breath, release yourself down. Bend your elbows. Feel the back spine open up. Inhale, lift up, broaden the collarbones, broaden your pelvis as well. Exhale, release down, bend your elbows. Ground weighing down. Inhale, one final time, look ahead of your mat. That's it. Now place your hands on your hips, elbows up towards the ceiling. Drop your tailbone, move your weight slightly back. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, release your arms, soften a little bit here. Now come to standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. We're working a little bit on opening the hamstrings today, just so that we can reframe and reset our body a little. So bend a little in your knees. My feet are hip width apart. I will show you sideways, but they are hip width apart. And there's a tiny bend in my knees. My collarbones are broad. Now from here, it's a little bit of a balance. If for some reason balance can be a challenge for you, Valeria, remember, bring your hands to the wall, or even if you have a wall nearby, like I have here, if there's no toy in the way, you bring your back to the wall and use that for your support, because it's a little bit of a balancing pose, but it's a lot of a balancing pose, because what we'll do now is we'll lift the right leg up, just like this, bending your right knee. Interlace your hands below your right thigh, open your chest. Now, 3 times only, flex the right foot. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the right knee. If you're balancing, take a little bend in your left leg here. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, bend it. Final time. Inhale, straight. Exhale, bend. Place the foot back on the floor. The leg feels a little longer now. Hope you noticed that. We've stretched it, we've lengthened it. Right, again, tiny bend in the knees. If you're by the wall, it's nice to have your pelvis, your shoulder girdle supported. You can still lift rather that left leg up, interlace the hands. Do make sure, all of you, whether you're balanced or supporting, using the wall for support, open the collarbones. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend your knee. Good job. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend, and place the foot back down. So in theory, our legs are nice and warmed up for the next pose. We have done this during these classes before. Notice how I've walked towards the front of my mat so that I can step my left leg back. Place your hands on your hips. Have a tiny little bit of a bend in your knees, and then step your left foot back, about a leg's length. Make your pelvis face the wall in front of you. Hands on hips, take a deep in-breath. Keep that right groin back, exhale, reach forward. Go halfway, find either your shin, top of your foot, or the floor with your fingertips. Exhale, your next exhalation, reach towards that right leg. Inhale, lift up, open the chest. Exhale again, bending your elbows, reach down towards the leg. Inhale, lift straighten the spine, back and front side. Final time, exhale, reach forward. Hold it for a moment. A few cycles of breathing, stay here. Release the torso down. Now once you're in the pose, right groin moves back. That will intensify the hamstring stretch. That's what we're after. We're opening the back leg in order to create a little more space so that we can reset. Then inhale, come back onto your fingertips, place your hands on your hips, come all the way up when you breathe in. Bend both knees a tiny bit, step your left foot forward. Let's go straight to the other side. Right foot steps back. Just about a leg's length. Don't go crazy. You want your right heel to be able to stay down. Hands on hips. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the sternum. Exhale, reach forward. Left groin, keep it moving back. Once you're about halfway, let's see where your hands want to go. Can they find the floor? If not, perhaps the top of the foot or shin. Always possible to have a tiny bend in that left knee. And then there we go. With the next exhalation, we bend the elbows back. We reach down over that left leg. Inhale, look up, extend forward. Exhale, reach down. Draw your left buttock slightly back. Final lift. Inhale up. Keep weight in the right foot. Exhale, reach down, and then let's hold this downward posture a little bit. Left groin moves back. You will feel the hamstring stretch climb up a little higher on the back of the leg. Release the weight of the head down. Find the space where your body allows you to. Don't forcefully, stretch or open. This should always be in collaboration with your physical body. Good, and then bend that front knee a little bit. Place both hands on the floor, shoulder width apart. Step your left leg back, step your right leg back, and find your downward facing dog again. Lift the seat up. Maybe here, a little less of a bend in the knees, perhaps straight legs, but there is no need to find the floor with those heels. We want to try and lift the seat up as high as we can. And then just holding the pose for a moment and observing whether it feels any different from the first time we did this in today's practice. Hopefully it does. We've opened, we've created space in shoulders, but mostly in the legs as well. So see, does that mean that there is more weight in the legs, in the feet, than the hands? Because that's what we want to get to. Good, and then lower the knees down. Just for a brief moment, let's take a child's pose. Bring the big toes together, knees a little wider than hip width, and just sit back towards your heels. Elbows bent, forehead rested. Soften the body here, recover. Give yourself a moment to recalibrate and to see whether anything has shifted, whether anything feels better or simply different. Allow the body with each exhalation, again, as we did at the very beginning, to weigh down, to become just that little bit heavier. Good. And then walk the hands back towards the sides of your ears and push yourself upright. And let's come to sitting with your legs out in front of you. So just sitting upright, legs out in front. Notice when I'm sitting like this, I always try to move the thighs slightly inwards. So from the front, that would look like this. A little bit of an inward rotation. In doing so, your sit bones get much more of a support and they root down a little more comfortably. So while you're sitting like this, place your fingertips alongside your sit bones and then lift the torso up so you're sitting upright. The heels press down, the calves perhaps, and the sit bones. The back of the knees do not have to touch the floor here. And then inhale, let's lift your arms up. Let's, again, notice, does this feel a little more comfortable? We've created a lot of space in the back of the legs today. Hopefully, it gives us an opportunity to lift the torso a little higher. And then exhale, release the arms out to the side if you have the space for that. And then bend your right knee. Left leg stays exactly as it is. Right knee is bent. Interlace the hands below the knee. Inhale, lift the chest slightly. Crown reaches up. Exhale, wrap your left arm just underneath the left knee and place your right fingertips behind your tailbone. Now here, gradually with each exhalation, and in fact, let's look towards your left foot to begin with. Keep staring at the left foot, but revolve the spine towards the inner thigh, inner right thigh, and then at the very end, turn your head towards the right shoulder. And just feel how your spine is gradually twisting a little higher up the ladder of your spine. So by now, you'll feel it between your shoulder blades and your neck is included as well. And then exhale, come back to the center, let go of the twist. Stretch the right leg out in front of you. Keep that right foot flexed. Bend the left knee. Interlace your hands below your knee. Inhale, lift your chest, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right arm wraps around. Let's continue to look towards the right foot. So it's the base of the spine that begins the twist. And gradually turn the head at the very, very last moment so that we've walked up the spine and we've gradually twisted every single segment of it. Shoulders away from ears, perhaps a little bit more weight in the left sit bone because it will want to lift. And then exhale, come back to the center and release the twist. It's like a little coil that's released. It feels fantastic. Now, let's come onto our backs. So lying on your back, as we started, but this time hands about shoulder height, palms facing up again. Bring the knees in towards your chest and very gradually let them release towards the right. You could even use your right hand to weigh them down a little. And then roll the chin towards the left shoulder to again find a complete twist in your spine. Comfortable, natural, complete breath. There shouldn't be any strain in this posture. You're releasing, you're recovering from the practice, and also it's a moment to observe what the body feels like, where the mind sits. Bring the right arm out to the side again, head to center, inhale, knees to center. Give yourself a moment to just restructure the pose with your arms, and then exhale, left side with the legs, left hand on the outer right thigh, and find again that complete release, softening in the body, which allows the breath to be much deeper, much more complete. And physiologically, the state of the breath is essential for a calm, serene state in our mind. So we've prepared the physical body for that to be possible. Let the left arm come back out to the side. Bring your head back up towards the ceiling and your knees with an in-breath, and then placing your feet on the floor. It's time for Shavasana. So that means the arms come a little closer towards you. Your legs extend out in front of you. And hopefully you feel a little taller, a little more spacious, a little bit more ready to receive this calmness, this serenity that your breath will help you get to. Closing the eyes, softly breathe through the nostrils. And bring the focus of your attention to your breath, allowing the breath's rhythm to lead the way. Very gradually begin to deepen your breathing. Introduce some movement in the body. Bend the legs one at a time. Let's extend the right arm overhead so that when you roll to the right, your temple, perhaps your cheek, can be supported by that right arm. Softly open the eyes and then press yourself to come to sitting upright in a chosen pose. Crossing the legs, kneeling, sitting on a block or a cushion. Close the eyes again once you are sitting upright. And palms down, you can touch your thumb and index fingers together just for a grounding. Feel supported, but also feel spacious. Really, that is essential, that as much as we're grounding in these days, we also feel that there is space for us to expand into. Bring the palms together, place them to the front of the heart. Use your hands with an in-breath to lift the heart, keep it up. Exhale, bow the head down to our heart. Lower the hands down. Open the eyes softly and then lift the head to look up. Very, very well done. Thank you very much again.